Hey guys, it's me, Mr. 250. Welcome back to Memories Dogma Code 1. So I took a quick peek at the choices guide, and it doesn't look like we have that many more choices left. I would guess we're probably like 70% through the game or so. Which is definitely weird because it definitely feels like we haven't done that much, like in terms of grand story of like figuring out what's going on. Although, like I had previously stated, the game is sort of, I think it was intended to be like an episodic sort of thing, and the episodes are coming out extremely slowly, if at all. So that would sort of explain why we're so far in the game and we don't know that much. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and continue today. After eating lunch, we all return to Serrano's room. I tell everyone what Aoi-san and I talked about. When I finish, Reina's got a complicated expression on her face.
Aoiにはかなり負担をかけてしまっているわね。
Aoi-san didn't look strained at all when she was happily talking to us during lunch. But that was probably because she didn't want to worry us.
そうだな。葵さんはああ言ってくれたけど、いつまでもってわけにもいかないし、これからどうするかを真剣に考えないとな。
まあまあ、二人とも。今はとりあえず前を向いていこうぜ。
Kakeru pats us both on the shoulder before going back to his laptop.
さーて、できてるかなと。ありゃ。
お前は相変わらず元気というか、気楽というか。
おっと、バカにしてもらっちゃ困るね。
Kakeru beckons us over and turns his laptop our way.
今さ、ちょっとプログラム組んで、コネクトセンターの心臓部みたいなとこに潜り込もうとしてんだけどさ。
Kakeru just casually talks about another one of his crazy feats.
予想はしてたけど、さすがに手強いな。
There's a number of authentication windows on a screen. From the looks of it, you need to provide some kind of biometric verification to go any further.
なんとかなりそうか。
さすがにリモートからだとちょっと難しいかもしれないな。
そうか。
ま、難しければ難しいほど燃えちゃうんだけどね。
Kakeru is in high spirits, despite the difficulty of the task before him. With a spirited, "Let's do this," Kakeru begins typing away on his keyboard again. Serrano's staring at me with a serious expression.
ねえ、ヒロくん。
どうした？
もうしばらく外には出ないよね。
いや、どうだろうな。カケルの試している手段がうまくいけばいいけど、そうでないとすれば閉じこもってばかりもいられないし。
If we don't hurry, you'll disappear. I leave those last words unsaid.
とにかく空野は何も心配しなくていい。
Instead, I just reassure her. I'm sure Serrano already knows anyway.
そんなこと言われてもやっぱり心配だよ。外に出ると危ないんだよね。
いや、でも
確かに総合的に考えるとここにいさせてもらうのがいいかもしれない。
それじゃあ葵さんにも負担が大きいってさっき話してたじゃないか。
もちろん葵に迷惑をかけたくはない。でも闇雲に動いたって結局またここの全員が危険な目に遭うことになる。そんなことになるくらいなら。
Reina trails off and silently rests her chin on her hands. Eventually, she opens her mouth again.
あるいは私が一人でコネクトセンターに行くとか。
は？お前何を言ってるんだよ。
考えうる選択肢の中でも現実的だと言えるもののうちの一つだと思う。私のラボにさえ入れれば、空野の記憶データのマスターを探すための手立ては いろいろと考えられる。
簡単に入れる場所じゃないってことはレイナが一番分かってるだろう。
そうね。だから身軽に動けるように私一人で行くと言ってるの。
敵が手ぐすね引いて待ってるようなところに女の子一人を送り込めって言うのかよ。カケルだって動いてるのにレイナは俺たちを信用してないのかよ。
そうじゃなくて、
Calm down.
私も私なりの手段を試してみたいだけ。ちょっと二人とも落ち着いて。
Serrano's uncharacteristic outburst shock us both into silence, and we both look at her.
私は誰にも危ない目にはあってほしくない。レイナちゃんも行かないでほしいよ。Serrano.
Reina can't say anything back to Serrano. Serrano continues, muttering softly.
こうやってみんなにまた会えて、私のことで一生懸命動いてくれてるのを知って、それってすごく幸せなことだなって思うんだ。でもそれでみんなが苦しんだり痛い思いをしたりするのは辛いな。
Serrano earnestly conveys her feelings to us. How am I supposed to respond to that? No matter what we do, someone will have to be put in danger. Kakeru continues working on his program, while Reina and Serrano stare silently at each other. I avert my gaze from Serrano and stand up.
どこ行くんだよ。
Kakeru asks without looking up from his monitor.
ちょっと頭を冷やしてくるだ
Nobody
け
said
だ。
we can't go outside, kid. I walk into the hallway, trying to escape from that stifling atmosphere. I go back downstairs and take a deep breath. Since I'm here anyway, I guess I'll go grab a drink. As I start heading towards the kitchen, I hear a faint voice from the living room. Oh
は
no.
い。もちろんその通りなん
Oh
ですが。
no, Aoi, you can't do this. What a twist. Who would have expected this? Looks like Aoi-san's on the phone with someone. I walk more quietly, trying not to make any noise.
それで空野が戻ってくるわけじゃありませんから。
I unconsciously stop to listen when I hear the word Serrano. I take a peek into the living room. Aoi-san sounds depressed as she talks. She must have been in the middle of work.
とにかく私は何も知らないです。
Yes, I understand. I will complete the order. Execute the children. Judging from her tone, whoever she's talking to isn't a friend. Someone from work, or maybe a family member, perhaps.
あ、
Aoi-san looks up and sees me.
すみませんがこれで失礼します。
Aoi-san hurriedly hangs up, and I suddenly feel bad for interrupting.
なんかすみません。
うんうん。いいの。大した話じゃなかったから。
Aoi-san gives me her usual smile. But for some reason I feel like her face is a little pale.
何か用事でもあった？
I think she's always a little pale. Like that's just her skin color.
すみません。飲み物をもらおうかと思って。
ああ、それならさっき缶ジュースをたくさん冷やしといたんだ。ちょっと待ってね。
Juice can. As I watch Aoi-san head to the fridge, I notice that she looks even thinner than before. She must not have had much of an appetite after Serrano died.
はいこれ。かけるたちの分も持って行ってね。そうだ。夕飯はカレーでいいでしょ？
すみません。何もかもお世話になって。
Anything else for your
Yeah.
final meal?
この家で一人きりだと気がめっちゃうからね。
I mean, your completely normal, not final meal?
賑やかになって私も嬉しい。
I can't bring myself to say anything, seeing Aoi-san trying so hard to be cheerful. Suddenly, the world around me is surrounded by gray.
ここはどこだ
Oh no, I'm in the dream world. Trembling at coldness of the ground, I get up. I squint my eyes, but I'm still unable to see anything. There's no buildings, no plants, no people. There's not a single indication that anything lives here. A completely gray world.
空の
I unconsciously mutter Serrano's name. There's no response. I still can't see anything but gray. There's no indication that anyone's here. Just an endless expanse of gray in every direction. I timidly start walking forward. But even as I keep walking, the scenery remains the same. This gray world stretches on forever. How far do I have to walk? How far do I have to go before I can meet Serrano? No one can answer that question for me. Suddenly, a large wall appears, blocking my path. I try smacking it, but it's a pretty sturdy wall. I give up on trying to go through it and turn to the right. But then suddenly the wall extends to the right as well, and I walk straight into it. I try stepping backward, but I feel that my back touch something hard. I turn around and see yet another wall.
なんだよこれ
I find myself surrounded by high walls on all sides. The walls surrounding me start to soundlessly close in on me. I try and push the wall back, but my legs just start sliding why the wall doesn't slow at all. At this rate, I'll be crushed. Soon enough, there's barely enough space for me to stand. I desperately keep pushing, trying to make some space for myself. Suddenly, the walls stop moving. I'm saved. As I finally stop to take a breather, the walls suddenly accelerate again, closing in on me. As they start to crush me, my vision goes black. Yeah, sure that was an important dream. As I open my eyes, I find myself in an unfamiliar room. After a while, collecting my thoughts, I remember this is the guest bedroom in Serrano's house. After dinner, Aoi-san had put out 3 futons here for us.
夢か
I think I was having a nightmare, but I can't remember the details. I shake my head, trying to drive out the last remnants of my dream. To my right, Kakeru is still sleeping soundly. He's probably been asleep this whole time. To my left, Reina is sleeping with her back to me. Ever since our argument this afternoon, things have been kind of awkward between us. What should we do next? That question still hasn't been answered. The more I think about it, the more jumbled up my thoughts get. Man, now I'm not even sleepy anymore. I get up, deciding to spend some time in Serrano's room. I quietly get out of my futon. This will be the first time I've gone to Serrano's room at night. I debate for a bit whether or not I should turn on the lights, but in the end I decide not to. I try to bring Serrano out with my MRD. Instead, I get a display icon telling me I'm out of oh, that's convenient. Yeah. Don't want to talk to Serrano, better kill the battery.
しまった
You think she'd have like a battery charger somewhere in this room, right? She used to be a person with an MRD that was alive. You normally just charge your MRD over Wi-Fi, so no one bothers to actually keep track of their battery. Oh, I see. Fair enough. But after last night, I turned Wi-Fi off to make sure no one tries to contact us. And since I made it so my MRD will only connect to Kakeru's laptop this afternoon, I haven't paid attention to its battery at all.
仕方ないか
Well, that's a plot device. I should at least start charging it before I go back to sleep, though. While absent-mindedly thinking about such things, I walk towards Serrano's bed. Got any battery I can download over Wi-Fi? The covers are cool and pleasant to the touch. Serrano's body heat will never warm this bed again. As I stand there with my hand on the bed, an unfamiliar feeling starts spreading throughout me. I'm surprised at these new emotions whirling within me. Serrano's no longer alive. I've told myself that hundreds of times now. And now that I've been able to talk to Serrano's memories, I thought I had finally fully prepared myself to accept it. But I guess, little by little, I'll start to get sentimental. I didn't think the reality of Serrano's no longer here would hit me this hard.
空の
I kneel on the ground, clenching my fists. I want to scream. I want to cry my heart out right now. But I can't. Because it's, nighttime and people would find that kind of weird. All I can do is grit my teeth and sit here.
ヒロキ、眠れないの？
I hear a whisper behind me and turn around to find Reina standing there. Seeing my face, Reina closes her eyes apologetically.
あ、ごめんなさい。空野と二人で話していたのね。
いや、俺一人だよ。
I force myself to speak normally, but Reina is slowly edging back out of the room. She's probably disgusted at how pathetic I am. Yeah, that's exactly what I think. I change my posture and sit down facing Serrano's bed. As I do so, I suddenly feel a slight touch on my back. I can feel the warmth through my t-shirt.
レイナ。
Silently, Reina sits down with her back against mine. The warmth of her back brings back the memories of the time I spent with Serrano. The sight of her smiling face as she held stuffed cats in each arm. The times we spent at her house eating the food Aoi-san cooked together. Serrano dragging Kakeru and me to a photo booth to commemorate our high school graduation. Each and every one of those memories feels so far away now. I don't know how much time has passed, but Reina stayed there with me until I finally calmed down again. Trying to hide my embarrassment, I start to speak.
レイナ、悪いな。
気にしないで。
Reina's reply is so faint, I have to strain my ears to hear it. But the warmth I feel coming from her isn't faint at all. I suddenly feel like telling her about the thoughts I've been hiding from everyone.
レイナ、聞いてほしいことがある。
I feel her head nod slightly, and I keep going.
もし完全な空野の記憶データを手に入れることができたら、俺は空野とずっ
This
と
is
一
how
緒に
you
い
get
られる
those,
のか。
those like those robot waifus, where somebody marries like a computer program or something. This is something I've been thinking about ever since I was able to talk to Serrano again. Even if Serrano's no longer physically here, if I can get her memories, I'd at least be able to talk to her whenever I wanted, which is kind of weird, but I'll give it to you. Of course, I know this is an extremely selfish request. It would mean putting Reina, Kakeru, and Aoi-san all in danger for my own selfish reasons. I know just how wrong it is to ask. That's why I never said anything about it to anyone. Reina is silent for a few moments before she finally mutters.
それがヒロキの本当にやりたいこと？
まだ。
そう。何をするにしろ後悔しない選択肢を選んだ方がいい。だから自分が本当にやりたいと思っていることは何かもう少し考えてみた方が
This
い
is
い
the
と思う。
future, we can do anything. We can have robot waifus. I've no way of knowing what kind of face Reina is making right now. However, I know that she took my question seriously. She didn't criticize or laugh at me.
わかった。ありがとう。聞いてくれて。
別にお礼を言われるほどのことはしてない。
I sit there for a while, basking in Reina's warmth. After a while, Reina starts leaning back against me.
何事につけても希望を持つのは絶望するよりも良い。可能なものの限界を測ることは誰にもできないのだから。
それは
昔の詩人の言葉の受け売りの受け売り。私が研究に行き詰まって落ち込んでた時に誠先生が教えてくれた言葉なの。
へえ、なんかいい言葉だな。
私も。
Reina sounds slightly relieved as she softly says that. Hearing her voice makes me feel warm inside too. We still don't know where we need to go from here. But my depression is beginning to lift little by little. We leave Serrano's room and start heading back to the guest room.
カケルが起きたらこれからのことを相談しないか。
そうね。カケルの怪我の状態を考えるとここから動くのは得策ではないと思うけど。
Man, I sure hope he doesn't need stitches.
だったら例えばカケルにはここで作業を続けてもらって俺たちは外に出る。
あのシグマがまた現れる可能性もある。
それは俺たちにとってチャンスになりうるんじゃないか。
チャンス？
あいつは JCO の事情に詳しいはずだ。この状況を破る突破口になる情報も持っているかもしれない。
それはあまりにも危険な賭けね。
ともかくもっと話し合おう。昼間はあまり冷静じゃなかったから。
そうね。私も少し焦っていたから。
レーナは謝りすぎだよ。
え？
イルマの件はお互い様だろ。
うん。
まあとりあえずは客間に。
Oh no. I'm scared of the dark. Suddenly our surroundings go dark.
あれなんだ。
停電かな。
雷なんて落ちてないよな。
Pondering the sudden power outage, I take Reina's hand and guide her back to the guest room in the darkness. He's just standing asleep. When I slide the door open, I see Kakeru sleepily rubbing his eyes.
あれ、二人ともどこ行ってたんだよ。
ちょっと話してた。お前も起きたのかよ。
なんか目が覚めちまって。
In the silence that follows... Oh, no. We all hear a door creak open.
今の音。
玄関の扉だろ。葵さんが外に出てたとかじゃね。
Sure, that's what happened.
私は隣のリビングから聞こ
Yeah,
えた
you
よう
know,
な気が
Aoi
する
san like lives in this house. She's allowed to open doors.
とりあえず電気を。
I flick the light switch. But there's no change and the room's still dark.
つかないな。ブレーカーでも落ちてるのか。
なんか気味が悪いな。
Quick, climb out the window. Reina puts a finger to her lips and motions us to be silent. She silently bends down and peers out. We fall silent as asked, and after a few seconds, Reina stands back up.
かける、立って。ひろきも手伝って。
Reina rushes over to Kakeru and tries to lift him up.
うわ、どうしたんだよ、レイナちゃん。
嫌な予感がする。葵にも声をかけて、ここを離れましょう。
A sudden power outage. That strange noise earlier. A bad feeling.
わかった。かける。こっちに捕まれるか。
もうそんな大げさなことしなくても歩けるって。
We override Kakeru's complaints and forcibly put him under our shoulders. Stepping outside, we peek into the hallway. careful not to make any noise. We head for Aoi-san's room, which is on the far right side of the entryway, or on the right side. We advance slowly and cautiously. Before we get very far, we all see the silhouette of a man in the entryway. Yeah, does he have a sharp arm and gaze? He looks like he isn't moving at all, but that isn't quite true. Whoever it is, they're moving unnaturally slowly and carefully. The silhouette silently approaches us. It looks like Raina's bad feeling was right in the mark. A power outage. There's sounds, and now the silhouette. Maybe it's just the guy coming to fix the power. I suddenly tense up, preparing for what's to come. It's too dark to make out the person's face clearly, but the silhouette's screaming in an extremely odd fashion.
くそ、こんなに早く居場所が見つかるなんて。
とにかく一度元の場所に戻って隠れましょう。
We all nod and begin to turn back, but then suddenly, I hear the sound of something flying past me. Not even a moment later, Kakeru feels even heavier than before. No! Kakeru, no! Kakeru slips out from my grasp and falls to the ground.
Huh? Kakeru?
I try to pick him up, but he's completely limp. I try to grab him by the stomach instead, and I feel something sticky flowing onto my hand. It's blood.
Hiroki! Mae!
I look in front of me and see two figures pointing guns at us. They're completely dressed in black, and their faces are covered by some kind of mask. I can't even tell if they're men or women, but judging from their builds, they're probably men. And they have guns. I can see their eyes as they catch a glimmer of light from outside, but I don't sense any emotion from them at all. Just now, one of them shot a man, yet he's still looking at us with those expressionless eyes. These guys shot Kakeru. I hear the sound of the guest room door being opened. I turn around and see the man who'd been in the hallway just seconds ago standing there, pointing his gun at us. Surrounded on both sides, we slowly get corralled to the center of the guest room.
レナ、お前だけでも逃げられるか？
こんな状況じゃさすがに無理よ。
Kakeru is collapsed at my feet. I can't allow Kakeru to be harmed any further. I try and put myself between these men and Kakeru, and I feel three guns suddenly point my way.
Hiroki! Yamete!
I can think of only one way out of this. Time to die. I'll just kill myself. He used the suicide move, and this time Kakeru wasn't around to save him. If I use that power, or maybe if I stare at the palm of my hand. I don't know if I'll be able to use it properly or not, but if I manage to do it right, even if I take some damage in the process, I should be able to take these guys down. Sure. What should I do? The intruders, their aim unwavering, are waiting for me to make a move. Can I do it? Take out the two in front of me and the one behind me at the same time? No, it's impossible. Don't even give me the choice on that, because you know I'm going to kill myself. Even if I properly manage to call up that power, any sudden moves would put Kakeru and Reina in danger. Even if I can take out those two in front of me, there's no guarantee that I can get the one behind me before he manages to shoot either of them. And most importantly, I don't even understand this power of mine in the first place. I slowly raise my hands and put them behind my head. The men still don't move. We don't move either. The faint cries of an ambulance pierce the silence. Save us, I want to shout out. But there's no way an ambulance would hear us from this far away. I'd like to call the police, but I doubt we'd be able to contact them successfully in this situation. Plus, some of them, have big sticks and they're dangerous. And, of course, our MRD's out of batteries, because God forbid that our fancy future wristwatch lasts more than a single day. Or even less than that, to be honest, I think. How do we get out of this?
Hiroki, 落ち
Of
着い
course,
て
then again, if you can charge it off Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi is, presumably everywhere, you could probably get by with a small battery. Kind of like how, gaming laptops will ship with a battery, but the battery's more of like a suggestion than a rule, and they last like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, Because you're not really expected to run them off battery very much. Reina whispers calmly.
銃を撃ってしまえば終わりなのに撃たないってことは私たちを
Except
殺すこ
Kakeru.
とが目的じゃ
Nobody
ない
cares about Kakeru.
じゃあ何が目的なんだ。
わからない。でもここで降伏すればいずれ逃げるチャンスも見つけられるかもしれない。
Help, I'm dying. Suddenly I feel something hit me across the head and I fall to the ground. Looking up, I see one of the figures who'd managed to close the distance between us in an instant. He's the one who hit me, probably. While I'm still trying to piece together what just happened, he silently smashes me on the head again with his gun. And not just my head. He starts hitting me in the stomach, back, sides, all over. Trying to protect myself against the pain, I huddle with my hands over my head. But even then, the pain is so great, I can hardly breathe.
待って。
Stop
私たち
hitting
はこ
us!
こで降伏する。だからこれ以上危害を加えないで。
The man finally stops hitting me after Reina's declaration. Hit her instead.
ヒロキ。
大丈夫
Hit
だ。
me again, you jerks! Reina gently strokes my back.
カケルを病院に連れて行ってくれれば、あなたたちの言うことをおとなしく聞く。
They don't respond, but they come up to Reina and me and pin our arms behind our backs.
レーナ、
私は大丈夫。
Even though she must be scared too, Reina tries to reassure me with a nod. But Reina is right. The best way out of this situation is just to do what they want. Suddenly, we hear the sound of someone pounding loudly on the front door. I see all the men suddenly tense up.
すみません、救急隊です。通報があったのはこちらですか。もしもし。
Mosh. Reina and I exchange glances. We certainly didn't call them. The men grabbing our arms exchanged some sort of signal with their eyes, then suddenly thrust us away before disappearing into the darkness.
これは
You win this time,
助かっ
kids.
た。
そうみたいね。
すみません、扉を開
Wait,
けます
no,
よ。
no, help Kakeru, please.
今行きます。
Still confused, I run up to the front door. Why did the paramedics come here of all places? Regardless of the reason why, this means we can save Kakeru. Just kidding, I'm the sharp-armed man with the baton man friend.
こちらに怪我人がいるとの通報があったのですが。
こっちです。
The paramedic is carrying a stretcher, and I direct him to where Kakeru is. Rain is sitting down next to Kakeru. I'm about to head over to him too, when I see that the door to Aoi-san's room is open.
そうだ。葵さ
Yeah,
ん。
screw you, Kakeru. I take a quick look in the living room, but she's not there. I rapidly start searching through all the rooms in the house. Why does the TV still work? Maybe it's got a battery. Thinking she might be hiding somewhere, I take a look through the closets too. But I don't see her anywhere.
What どうしたのヒロキ。
葵さんの
Oh no.
姿
Hey,
がないん
Aoi-san,
だ。
don't tell me you were the bad guy the whole time.
まさか。
We're probably thinking the same thing. What if those men... No, yeah, sure. Took Aoi-san. And not that Aoi-san was part of this from the beginning. And now it's daytime. Or morning time. Kakeru is being carried out of the house on a stretcher. All we can do for him now is watch over him.
ヒロキ。
Oh, you're alive? As the stretcher passes by us, Kakeru calls out to me. his face twisted in pain.
かける
Kakeru, you need to stop getting injured. This is your fault. I run over to the stretcher. Kakeru slowly lifts up his trembling left hand. I clasp it tightly with my right.
悪いな。
I've always loved you, Hiroki. I love you too, Kakeru. Kakeru's voice is so faint I have to strain my ears to catch his words.
大丈夫だ何も言うな
あと、
Oh man,
頼むぞ。
that's so cool, Kakeru.
空の真実。
Kakeru loses the strength to keep his arm up.
おいかけるおい
He's dead, son.
ちょっとどいて
One of the paramedics pushes me out of the way while I keep shouting Kakeru's name. He has a short conversation with another paramedic. Then they carry Kakeru to the ambulance. Unable to bear seeing him go like that, I take a step forward, about to ask them to let me on the ambulance too, when Reina grabs me by the shoulder.
私たちがついていけばもっと面倒なことになる。
でも
私だって一緒に追いかけたいと思ってる。
Reina's practically shouting.
けど一刻も早く治療を受けられるようにすることが結果的にカケルが助かる可能性を高めることになる。
レーナ
今は助かることを信じるしかない。
I look back at the ambulance just in time to see them shut the door after loading Kakeru in it. The ambulance then speeds away, its siren blaring. Please make it out of this alive, Kakeru. I pray earnestly while watching the ambulance depart.
カケルは大丈夫。きっと。
Reina says while biting her lip. Her words lack conviction.
でも葵が
I'm almost certain the JCO sent those men. Which means it's highly likely that Aoi-san was kidnapped.
レーナ一刻も早くコネクトセンターに
There's someone standing in the corner of the alleyway. Did those guys from earlier come back? My body tenses up again.
レーナ下がって
どうしたの？
あそこに誰かいる
I move to cover Reina as I stare at the figure. Whoever is there slowly starts walking towards us. Eventually they get close enough I can make out their features in the faint moonlight. Ah, yes, it's you, girl who doesn't even have a name yet and is potentially important. It's that shrine maiden I've seen a few times before.
君はあ
You're
の
that
時
girl.
楠原弘樹さん、それに折笠玲奈さんですね。
How does she know our names?
あなたは何者なの？
詳しい事情は後ほど。突然で申し訳ありませんが、ひとまず私についてきていただけませんでしょうか。
どこへ
ついてきていただければわかります。
君が俺たちの敵ではないという証拠は
Because I haven't attacked you yet.
後できちんとお話しします。少なくともここに居続けるのはあまり得策ではありません。
I look in the direction that she's pointing, and I see a young woman looking at us from the window of the neighboring house. Looking around, I see a lot of Aoi-san's neighbors have opened their windows to take a look at the commotion. Makes sense. After all, an ambulance did just come here. It's only a matter of time before people realize Reina and I are the ones that were on the news and are wanted by the police.
ご理解いただけたならこちらへ。
The girl holds her left hand up high, and a ray of light from the morning sun pours down onto her. That was pretty cool. She looks like some kind of divine being. Should we do as she asks? Or should we... While weighing our options, we silently exchange glances, trying to figure out what the other is thinking. However, one sentence from the girl changes everything.
お話ししたいことがあるのです。 水無空野さんのことにつ
Gasp.
いて。
Serrano. Oh, okay. No gasp. Just, just transition. 2 days remaining. Yeah, we'll stop off here. That's good enough. Like I said, I don't think it's that much more, but it's like 2 more decisions that actually matter. So it could potentially be a little while still. Anyway, though, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time for more Memories Dogma Code 1. Bye!